Okay, back again with section 10.1 rather, and we're on part 2. And so what we're looking at, what we talked about last time was the formula for the circumference of a circle. And so anytime you're doing something that requires memorization, you should rewrite the thing you're doing each time. So circumference is equal to pi times the diameter, or circumference is equal to 2 pi r. And find the circumference of the helipad described at the left. Let's check out this description. In 2005, Roger Federer and Andre Agassi played tennis on a helipad. They're cool. Of the Burj Al Arab Hotel in the United Arab Emirates. The helipad has a diameter of 79 feet and it's nearly 700 feet high. So, the key information here that we want to hold on to is the diameter, right? Because that's the only thing we need in order to find the circumference. So with that information, we know that circumference is equal to pi times the diameter. Technically, we could stop here and just replace the diameter with the value that we know the diameter is, 79 feet. And technically, the circumference is equal to 79 pi. And this is if you're asked for the exact answer. We're not going to give the exact answer. We're going to use our calculator to tell us what 79 pi really is. And so when we multiply 79 times pi, so I'm not using any of the approximations, 22 over 7. I would use that if I were doing it by hand, or 3.14. Again, I'd use these if I'm doing it by hand. But if I'm using the calculator, I'm going to use the pi button. When I do that, I get approximately 248.1858. And yes, this is still an approximation, but it's nice to use. This is a better approximation than it would be if I use these like already abbreviated approximations. Does that make sense? All right. I hope it does. We don't need all of those decimals. So I'm just going to say 248.2. All right. So that's approximately the distance around this helipad. Again, I'm going to write down the formula. Circumference is equal to pi times the diameter, or circumference is equal to 2 pi r, which we know to be equivalent things. Find the diameter and the radius of a circle to the nearest hundredth if the circumference of the circle is this. Okay, so they're giving us the circumference here of the circle. So this is not going to be the same type of problem that we had before. A little bit more engaged. Instead of getting the diameter or the radius and find the circumference, we've given the circumference and we need to find the diameter and the radius. Well, we're going to take the circumference, which is 106.4, and substitute it in for, C, the circumference. And then we're going to calculate the diameter. I'm not going to use both of these formulas. I'm just going to calculate the diameter and then I'm going to use the diameter to find the radius. So when I do this, I'm going to make a calculator ready. 106.4 is equal to pi times the diameter. Divide both sides by pi, and I'll have the diameter. So my calculations have that the diameter is equal to about 33, should put my little wavy lines, 33.861, and they asked us to do it to the nearest hundredth. So 33.86 is where we're going to, that's terrible, is where we're going to say that our answer is for the diameter. And for the radius, we know that the radius is equal to the diameter divided by 2, right? And so we'll just divide that by 2. And we see that our radius is approximately 16.93. And I'll be a good teacher and put the units down here, which is just what I'm supposed to do. So millimeters, let's make that millimeters. Are you guys with me? This is making sense. It's not too bad. And I think this is our last example. It's a standardized test, kind of a short response. So we got to process through a little bit, but that's okay. So the circumference of a circumscribed polygon. So remember, inscribed means that it's inside. Circumference of a circumscribed polygon, circumscribed is going to mean that it's going to be outside. So let's see. A square with the length 9 inches is inscribed. Oh no, is inscribed within a circle J. So let me draw a diagram of this. And it says that the square is inscribed. I know this looks terrible, Chablitos. Just be with me. So here's the square. And it's right in there. Alright, so here's the square. We know each of these sides are equivalent. We know that this is called circle J, so the center of the circle is at some point J. And we know that the sides are 9 inches. Well, what else do we know? A square with length 9 is inscribed in this circle, and we need to find the circumference. Well, to find the circumference, I know I need pi times 2 pi times r, or I need pi times the diameter. So it would be dope if I had the diameter. And when I look at this over and over again, I'm hoping somebody right now is going, oh, I know what to do, teacher. I know exactly what to do, with a British accent. So if somebody's doing that now, hopefully you see that we can find the diagonal here, right? And finding that diagonal of the circle is the same as finding the diagonal. Well, finding the diagonal of the square is the same as finding the diameter of the circle. And so we know how to do this, right? We can do this because we know that this is a 45-45 right triangle, right? You see how all the stuff is coming back together? And if we look at this special triangle right here that I'm shading in purple or pink or whatever color this is, we know that we can automatically get this length because they have the relationship S root 2 from back in chapter like 8 or something. So 9 root 2 would be the lengths of the sides. So the length of this whole side, the diameter is 9 root 2. And so if I'm looking for the circumference, it's going to be pi times 9 root 2. And in order to get a number that's going to feel, this is the exact answer, right? But in order to get a number that's going to feel right to use in calculations, we make a calculator ready, and that is, we're just going to put in pi times 9 times root 2 in our calculator. And I've been using Desmos, and we get 39.98, which is super duper close to 40. And by all, it would be 39.99 if I just do it to the hundredths. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to just put that the circumference is equal to approximately 39.99 if we do it to the hundredths. And that's it. That's it for our examples and our use of the circumference formula. So definitely get started with the assignment. Make sure that it makes sense. And let me know if you have any questions, concerns, or you need additional practice or different practice. All right? I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.